minute News 360 coming to you live from the News Hub here at Adesa Wekanda. I am Portia Gabo.
And I am Martin Asiedu-Data. These are the headlines for the next 1 hour.
News 360 headlines is brought to you by
Flamingo Paint,
Pepsodent Charcoal and Pepsodent Herbal,
EcoBank, Nero Prime Water.
Coming up tonight, the minority is raising alarm over attempts to weaken Special Prosecutor's Office as Attorney General moves to take over the OSP cases after a High Court ruling.
And also coming up tonight, Chief Justice Paul Bafo-Boni reaffirmed judiciary's commitment to upholding the rule of law and improving access to justice.
Later in the bulletin, labor union leaders describe government's decision to absorb the 2 cedi per litre on diesel and 36 pesos per litre on petrol as timely.
In business news, IMF Managing Director signals up to $50 billion global emergency support as Ghana faces oil price risk amid external shocks.
And later on the international front, Pope Leo criticizes foreigners who exploit the wealth of Africa for profit during his visit to a conflict-hit region of Cameroon. We are live around the world on 3news.com. If you're watching us online, you could probably watch us on Facebook and on YouTube. Your messages are always welcome.
We begin from Parliament, where the minority says current legal challenges over the independence of the Office of the Special Prosecutor is indicative of a government-sponsored act to remove the office from the country's statutes. The continuous existence of the OSP is under threat after the Attorney General said it will take steps to take over cases being handled by the OSP. And Yonam Haliga captures ongoing debate over the Office of the Special Prosecutor in this report.
With constitutional flaws, the words of the then minority leader, Haruna Idrisu, when the Office of the Special Prosecutor Act was fiercely debated in Parliament before its passing. 8 years down the line, the debate over whether or not the OSP truly is independent is back on the front burner amidst questions over the government's commitment to fight corruption. The present conundrum, necessitated by a ruling of the High Court, has called into question the authority of the OSP in charging and prosecuting persons without express approval of the Attorney General. The court tasked the OSP to either seek the authorization required or the Attorney General take over all cases belonging to the OSP. Kweku Ansah Asari, a former rector of the Ghana School of Law, has been sharing his perspective on the latest development.
It's a good ruling, sound in law, and in consonance with the provisions of Article 88 of the 92 Constitution. What the High Court did yesterday was to say that since the OSP did not obtain prior authorization before embarking on certain prosecutions, it had erred, and therefore it should go back. So the High Court drew the attention of the Office of the Special Prosecutor to the existence of Article 88 of the 1992 Constitution.
While some believe this was bound to happen, others believe the present challenge directly attacks Ghana's fight against graft. Deputy Ranking Member on Parliament's Constitutional and Legal Affairs Committee and Member of Parliament for Kushegu, Alhassan Tampuli, believes the ongoing development is a deliberate government effort to rid the country of the office.
First, we saw the leader of government business, Honorable Mahama Yarega, and the MP for Boku Central, and then the Honorable Majority Chief Whip, Honorable Roxanne Nelson Dafiamepo, bring a private member's motion to the floor of Parliament seeking to abolish the Office of the Special Prosecutor. Now that is a parliamentary, attack. They were called to order by the president from what we were told. Then there was an attempt to use the executive. So petitions were filed. A series of them, the last time I mentioned that there were about 10 petitions, some people argued, but there were quite many petitions. Now those also failed the test of prima facie. So they were also thrown out. Now the last leg is to use the judiciary. And this is what we are seeing.
The Attorney General's office, while the debate rages over the party of the High Court ruling, says it has no intention to disobey the order. The Deputy Attorney General, Sremsai, added the office will in the coming days take steps to give effect to the order. A position the Gushegu Member of Parliament says enforcers believe the current administration has no desire to fight corruption.
All this Attorney General has to do is to give the necessary authorization. And then we'll stop all of this, confusion that is, all over the place. But we are hearing, for instance, my very good friend, Honorable Dr. Justice Sremsai, saying that they are going almost immediately to start taking over the cases. There are two courses of action. You give the authorization or you proceed. And even with that proceeding, you need to wait because the OSP has indicated an intention to appeal that decision.
For retired Supreme Court Judge William Atuguba, the High Court's decision in the case between the Office of the Special Prosecutor and the Attorney General is not final and can be appealed at the Supreme Court.
The High Court decision is not final. I think there's an appeal also. They can question it in the Supreme Court. Until the Supreme Court finally determines, we can't say that it's over.
But with the latest ruling, the autonomy now faces serious legal limitations. Enyonam Haliga, TV3 News, Accra.
Staying in the court, the Supreme Court has granted the Attorney General 7 days to file a statement of case in a constitutional challenge that could redefine the prosecutorial authority of the Office of the Special Prosecutor. At the Apex Court on Thursday, the 16th of April, a chief state attorney representing the Attorney General explained that delays in filing the statement of case were due to what she described as unavoidable administrative procedures. The Supreme Court, however, questioned why no supporting affidavit had been filed alongside the request for an extension. The applicant, who is also representing himself, lawyer Noah Ephraim Tete Adamte, was absent from court. Despite the concerns raised, the Supreme Court granted the Attorney General 7 days to submit his legal arguments. The case, which has been pending for nearly a year, challenges the constitutional basis of the Office of the Special Prosecutor's investigative and prosecutorial powers, filed under Article 2(1) and invoking the interpretative jurisdiction of the court under Article 130. The suit raises questions about whether Parliament can vest prosecutorial authority in the Special Prosecutor when Article 88 of the same Constitution reserves that power for the Attorney General. An earlier attempt by the Office of the Special Prosecutor to join the case was dismissed by the court, which held that the Attorney General is the proper party to defend the law.
Government has called for improved efficiency, access and public trust in Ghana's justice system. As the Supreme Court of Ghana marks its 150th anniversary, the call was made at the official launch of activities marking the milestone, which brought together key stakeholders in the legal and governance space.
Government says delays in court processes, long hours of litigation and access to justice remain key concerns that must be addressed within the judicial system. Speaking on behalf of the President at the launched 150th anniversary of the Supreme Court of Ghana, a Deputy Chief of Staff Administration, Nana Oye Bampoado, called for reforms to improve efficiency and strengthen public confidence in the courts.
The courts must continue to stand as the final fortress against arbitrariness, abuse of power, and constitutional erosion. The Supreme Court must continuously deepen gender-sensitive inclusiveness and broaden access to justice for all, especially for vulnerable persons, women, persons with disability, and the poor. Justice must not be the preserve of the privileged.
Government also urged the judiciary to adopt modern technology and digital systems to speed up case management and reduce delays in the delivery of justice. Responding to the call, the Chief Justice Paul Bafo-Boni acknowledged the importance of strengthening the justice system as it marks 150 years of existence. He reaffirmed the judiciary's commitment to upholding the rule of law and improving access to justice.
Through the e-justice program, we are moving toward digital filing, digital service, virtual hearings, and digitized records, making justice faster, more efficient, and more accessible. We have introduced extended court sittings via the two-stream system, turning time itself into an ally of justice. Through specialized courts for emerging areas of law, we are acknowledging that the law must grow with society. And through the ongoing revision of our court rules of court, we are attempting something fundamental to ensure that procedure serves justice and does not suffocate it.
Established in 1876, the Supreme Court has evolved through colonial rule, independence, and multiple republics, shaping Ghana's legal and democratic framework.
And congratulations to the Supreme Court for chalking 150 years since its operations. Long may our judiciary grow. Talking about the judiciary, a luminary in that sector, lawyer Chachu Chikata, has said that up until today, the country has no definitive accounting for the 2020 presidential elections. He attributed the reason to the refusal of the panel to not allow the chairperson of the Electoral Commission, Jean Mensah, to testify as the returning officer of the presidential election. Mr. Chikata raised his concerns during the UPSA honorary lecture and award ceremony, where he received a Lifetime Achievement Award on Wednesday.
The 2020 election was challenged at the Supreme Court by the National Democratic Congress, which raised concerns over the election process. During his speech, renowned lawyer Chachu Chikata said the court should have permitted Jean Mensah to mount the witness box for questioning over the conduct of the 2020 elections.
I found it sad during the election petition following the December 2020 presidential election, the constitutionally designated returning officer, the chairperson of the Electoral Commission, even though she had deposed to an affidavit verifying the answer of the Electoral Commission and was supposed to testify, did not testify to present the authoritative final figures, much less explain the ever-changing figures from the Commission. To this day, therefore, the country has no definitive accounting for the 2020 presidential election. In the face of evidence of her failure even to be in attendance at the process in the collation center at the EC head office, the declaration of results that she made was even more problematic. Unanimous FC was the verdict of the people on the proceedings in the Supreme Court, which shielded the returning officer from accounting to the people of Ghana.
Chachu Chikata pointed out that the outcome of the 2024 election vindicated Mahama.
The negative reaction of ordinary people to the appearance of judges to participate in the swearing-in of the new president on 7 January 2025 was an unfortunate reflection of the people's attitude to the unanimous FC. I may also say that from the point of view of President Mahama, whose election petition was dismissed by the unanimous FC, vindication came comprehensively in December 2024. What he could not have done with the hung parliament after the 2020 election, he now has a chance to do decisively with a supermajority in parliament. This vindication, however, comes with a heavy weight of responsibility and expectation, which I believe the president is conscious of.
His comment comes as he reflects on the role of the judiciary and the legal profession in maintaining public trust.
We lawyers in particular, judges most especially, must be in the vanguard of the respect for legality and justice.
In more news tonight, Labour union leaders have described government's decision to absorb 2 cedis per litre on diesel and 36 pesos per litre on petrol as timely. The intervention is aimed at easing the burden on workers and the general public. Our Labour Affairs correspondent Daniel Opoku has filed this report.
Government, in line with Cabinet's decision to cushion fuel price hikes, on Wednesday announced plans to absorb 2 cedis per litre on diesel and 0.36 pesos per litre on petrol. The decision takes effect on April 16, 2026, which marks the next pricing window. The intervention will remain in force for a period of 1 month. Leaders of some labor unions, including the president of the National Association of Graduate Teachers, NAGRAT, Jacob Anaba, the General Secretary of the Ghana National Association of Teachers, Thomas Tanko Musa, and the General Secretary of the Teachers and Education Workers Union, TEU, King James Azotiba, say the intervention has brought relief to workers across the country.
The world prices is going up. What government needs to do is that he has to look at it. What are the taxes I've put on the fuel? And remove some of the taxes. But now I understand it is a subsidy. It means that government will have to look for money and pay. So we are creating debt somewhere. What we need to avoid.
Because of that, the GPRTU have decided that they will not increase lorry fares. And many other people, decisions that they could have taken, which would have gone to affect the ordinary worker, ordinary Ghanaian, all of them have ended up suspending those decisions as a result of the reduction of the diesel by 2 Ghana cedis and the petrol by 0.36 pesos. Because of that, His Excellency the President of the Republic of Ghana must be commended.
When you take diesel, about almost 9 cedis per litre is enough, per gallon is enough intervention that will cushion the Ghanaian public and the Ghanaian worker.
Despite the commendation, the union leaders have called on government to sustain the intervention beyond the initial 1-month period.
1 month, I agree, but they have to come clear. They have to be transparent. You have to indicate to the citizens that these are the taxes we have on fuel. This is what we want to take away from the fuel, the taxes. And let's be transparent to the citizens of Ghana. If you say 2 cedis, which part of the taxes is it affected? Because the price from the international market remains the same. Sure. You have brought the fuel here. You have put certain taxes and levies on them. Remove them.
There are shocks that come to hit us suddenly and surprisingly unaware. We are sometimes taken by events. And when that happens and our economy is thrown off gear, the cedi is no longer standing anywhere, and the dollar is dribbling the cedi like anything, by the time we realize, we'll go to the IMF. Why? It is because our fundamentals are weak, and we need to be careful the way we go.
We're only hoping that within the 1 month, it does not escalate for the prices to shoot higher. When it shoot higher, we buy and we come and sell, and we cannot do anything. Then the long-term effect is that if it continues, then we are going to suffer. We can only pray.
According to the Ministry of Energy and Green Transition, the combined effect of the reduced margins will translate into an average estimated revenue loss of at least 200 million cedis for government in each pricing window.
The Member of Parliament for Old Tafo, Vincent Ekoesafua, has accused the National Pensions Regulatory Authority of misusing pension funds, alleging that resources have been improperly spent on foreign training programs, payment of double salaries, and plans to embark on a second phase of the NPRA head office project. He says these actions point to poor spending priorities and weak governance within the authority's current leadership, and has demanded an independent review of the situation.
It has been confirmed that NPRA undertook a 2-week foreign training program at Bentley University in Boston involving 11 board members, 6 directors, and senior management staff, translating to well over 8 million Ghana cedis, excluding tuition, logistics, and incidental expenses which remain undisclosed. Reports indicate the appointment of a personal aide, reportedly a veterinary doctor, who has been elevated to the position of assistant manager. Despite the establishment of a fully fledged directorate for micro pensions, Mr. Chris Bodi-Mensah is also reported to have appointed the former CEO, the former chief executive officer of the NPRA, Kofi Anoche, as a consultant on micro pensions at a reported cost of 4 million Ghana cedis. That is the duplication of cost to the ordinary pensioner. Some 3-4 years ago, the NPRA committed a lot of money in building the first phase of the headquarters of the NPRA. And today, if you move along the N1 highway, that facility is there, uncommissioned, unused. We have a certain NPRA CEO who has also taken pensioners' money, about 700 million Ghana cedis, to go and expand that headquarters. I therefore call on His Excellency the President of the Republic, the Minister for Finance, as the current supervising minister, the Secretary General of the Trades Union Congress, the Executive Secretary of CLOCSAC, the General Secretary of NAT, the General Secretary of NAGRAT, the Chief Executive Officer of the Chamber of Corporate Trustees, the Chairperson and members of the Forum for Public Sector Pension Schemes, the Office of the Special Prosecutor, civil society organizations, and the Auditor General to take an immediate interest in these matters and ensure that the hard-earned pension contributions of the Ghanaian workers are protected from waste.
Well, so on the back of all those allegations, we contacted the National Pensions Regulatory Authority for a reaction to this, and they have told us an official response will be issued anytime soon to address some of the claims made by the Old Tafo MP, and I will definitely update you when we do get those updates.
In more news tonight, World Vision Ghana has unveiled its global strategy, Our Promise 2030, which aims to deliver lasting community-based impact for vulnerable children around the world. The strategy aims to empower 125 million vulnerable children with a strong focus on child protection, education, health and nutrition, including efforts to address anemia and improve mental health.
The World Vision Ghana Global Strategy focuses on integrated programs, strong partnerships, and sustainable funding to address the root causes of poverty. It also places emphasis on child protection, emergency response, and holistic development by working closely with communities. Officials say the launch marks a renewed commitment to improving the well-being of vulnerable children and ensuring long-term development outcomes. Speaking at the launch, the National Director, Tina Mukunda, emphasized that the initiative will empower communities.
We still see gaps, and World Vision cannot keep quiet. World Vision cannot stay calm. World Vision cannot rest until every child is safe. And therefore, we have noted that around 18% of our children are still malnourished. We have noted that we still have gaps in our foundational learning. 44% of the population in Ghana struggle to access clean, safe water for their domestic use, but also they are underserved as far as sanitation and hygiene is concerned.
The Minister for Gender, Children and Social Protection, Agnes Namu-Molate, lauded the initiative.
World Vision Ghana brings not only financial resources, but also technical expertise and innovative approaches that have enriched our national response to child welfare challenges. Its multi-sectorial approach aligns closely with the ministry's integrated strategy for delivering holistic development outcomes for children in Ghana.
The Chief of Staff, Julius Debra, who launched the strategy and delivered the keynote address, called for collaboration.
Hope for every child, harnessing opportunities for the protection and empowerment of every child. World Vision Ghana aims to improve the lives of 2.8 million children, especially the most vulnerable and their families by 2030. I am happy to observe that this strategy aligns perfectly with Ghana's national development priorities and the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals.
The Ghana Center for Democratic Development, CDD Ghana, has revealed deep-seated challenges within Ghana's local governance system, with calls for urgent reforms to improve efficiency, accountability, and inclusiveness. This came to light during a stakeholder forum held to collate inputs on proposed reforms to the country's decentralization framework. Here's a report by Upper West correspondent Ibrahim Wangara.
Stakeholder Forum brought together key actors in local governance, including district chief executives, district coordinating directors, presiding members, queens, and media practitioners to validate findings from a nationwide survey conducted across selected districts. Programs Manager for Local Governance and the Security Sector at CDD Ghana, Paul Nana Kwabena Abrampa Miensa, sheds light on the major findings.
The major ones I can summarize is that some of the assemblies are weak financially, and they, apart from the district assembly common fund, they don't generate enough to see their development. In some of the districts, we have the district structures non-functioning. We also have complaints from the chiefs who said the consultation system at the assemblies is not enough. They are only consulted during salt cutting. There were also complaints of inability of assembly members to consult their constituents prior to assembly meetings.
The engagement captured divergent views on the election of metropolitan, municipal, and district chief executives, with participants rejecting proposals for phase elections, describing them as discriminatory.
If we are promoting voting for our MMDCs, we should just make it a universal arrangement so that every district, they have the opportunity to elect their MMDC through a universal adult suffrage process.
The presiding member for the One Metropolitan Assembly, Nu Abdul Wahab, called for the adoption of a simple majority voting system in the election of presiding members to avoid delays, waste of resources, and administrative inefficiencies.
This is News 360 on TV3. We have the latest in the world of business, sports, and entertainment coming up. Do stay with us.
I love President Charcoal. Why? When there are so many other charcoal toothpaste. That's both charcoal and lemon. Oh, does it? Yes.
With me, Menu Afol. Now, the International Monetary Fund says it is preparing up to $50 billion in emergency support for countries vulnerable to fresh shocks. This comes on the back of countries, including Ghana's economic recovery efforts, facing renewed pressure from rising oil prices and global uncertainty.
Ghana is among economies being closely watched at the IMF World Bank spring meetings in Washington as concerns grow over the impact of higher energy prices and slowing global growth. IMF Managing Director Kristalina Georgieva says the fund expects near-term demand for financial assistance to range between $20 and $50 billion, with several countries in sub-Saharan Africa likely to seek support.
We anticipate near-term demand for IMF financial support to range between $20 and $50 billion. This represents augmentations of some existing programs. Currently, we have 39 programs, and prospective demand for new programs from at least a dozen countries, a number of them in sub-Saharan Africa.
The IMF Managing Director says her outfit is coordinating with the World Bank and other partners to respond quickly to countries facing turbulence.
We are coordinating closely with the World Bank, with the International Energy Agency, with other partners, including at regional level, to maximize our combined response.
Away from that, KGL Group of companies has paid 153 million cedis in corporate income tax to the Ghana Revenue Authority, reinforcing its contribution to national development. The payment was presented at a tax compliance ceremony in Accra, with the company describing it as part of its commitment to responsible corporate citizenship.
KGL says paying tax is not just a legal obligation, but a key way businesses contribute to building a resilient economy.
We are proud to present the outstanding payment of the 153,213,000 plus, representing our tax obligation for the year ending 2025. And this signals what Ghanaian companies can also do, and it translates into real progress for our country.
The company revealed that in 2025 alone, it made total direct payments of 350 million cedis to the state, including 180 million cedis to the National Lottery Authority. Beyond taxes, KGL has committed over 40 million cedis to social impact projects through its foundation, alongside investments in sports, health, and education.
We built that mental health unit in Kumasi. We put in $2 million into the Black Stars. So there are a lot of projects that we're doing dotted around the country. This is even aside of the 40 million which we have put in the KGL Foundation.
The Ghana Revenue Authority commended the company's compliance, describing it as vital for boosting domestic revenue and supporting government's development agenda.
The nation Ghana, under the leadership of His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama, if it's going to achieve the vision of reset, is going to depend upon collective partnership. And that partnership, as far as we are concerned, comes from businesses like KGL that are committed to voluntarily comply with their tax obligations.
KGL Group is a wholly owned Ghanaian conglomerate headquartered in Accra and operates 6 specialized subsidiaries across fintech, digital innovation, logistics, property development, and commerce.
Let's now look at how the cedi is faring against other trading currencies and how some of our key commodities are faring on the global market. That's it for Business Tonight on News 360. I am Menu Afol. We have sports news coming up next. Please stay with us.
Sports here on News 360. My name is Mutala Yakubu. To our very first story, where former Ghana international Gerard Asamoah has called for more proactive approach in recruiting dual nationality players for the Ghana national football team, as well as scouting for young players as debate intensifies over potential inclusions ahead of the 2026 FIFA World Cup. His remarks come amid renewed public discussion about whether Ghana should pursue foreign-born talents with Ghanaian heritage for the Mundial. He made this assertion in an exclusive interview with 3 Sports.
What are we Ghanaians doing for it? For example, we have so many good Ghanaian players in Germany. And how do we get these players? Because, for example, having a player like, let me say, Jerome Boateng, he was a young guy. Ghana, everybody, we living in Ghana, we live in Germany, we always look back to Ghana and say, hey, Ghana is trying to be nice. But we need to focus on these young guys. So what is the plan to go there? We have, let me be honest with you, it's just mine what I'm thinking about, to get these players also. These are things we need to do to get these young players, and let me be honest with you, there are so many. The way changing the system, not always doing the same what we are doing. Always staying in Ghana, taking the Ghanaian players what in Ghana, you need to go out. You need to go out because most of the Ghanaians are also living outside. So you need to go out, not sit there and do all this academy. You need to go out and go to Schalke and ask, hey, how many players do you have for Schalke for the youth? How many players do you have Dortmund? You need to talk to this player. You need some scout who go there. Do you know how proud they will be? No, I've decided I'm not playing for Germany anymore. I'm going back to Ghana. These things we need to change because we are waiting to see, okay, Kevin Prince Boateng is there, and then we go for him. And he said, no, I don't want to come, or Austin Odoi, or this, or we go for them. No, we don't want, because they didn't see how we Ghanaians fight for them when they were young. The British people did everything for them, and now we are coming, and they are done. They are now good players, and now we want them. So you need to do it. You need to do this. It doesn't matter. You need to start in the youth, and you need to go there. And the GFA president doesn't need to do it. You need her staff to organize this all things.
Gerard Asamoah played for Germany at the 2006 World Cup. Let's do something locally where Mediema head coach Ibrahim Tanko says they are determined to defeat Dreams FC and stake a claim to the finals of the MTN FA Cup. The Mauve and Yellow, who are top of the Ghana Premier League, face Dreams FC on Saturday in the semis of the competition, with their eye firmly fixated on the prize.
Preparing very well. This is a different competition, MTN FA Cup. Like you said, we are playing semi-final. We want to reach the final, so definitely we are preparing very well so that we will achieve our aim. Trump Divisa was a really, really good opponent for us, and I don't think we are going to take this one differently. I mean, we are going to prepare like the way we are preparing in our league matches. So definitely, the preparation is going to be a very, very serious one. I think, and I always tell the players that all of them are important to us. All of them can start against any team at any time. So
Mediema head coach Ibrahim Tanko there. Let's look at the fixtures coming up in the semi-final of the MTN FA Cup. Nations FC will come up against Adriana tomorrow. Then on Saturday, there's Dreams FC who will take on SC Mediema. Let's get some updates on the Brekum bus attack because the Ghana Police Service has confirmed the arrest of 2 suspects in connection with the deadly robbery attack on the Brekum Chelsea team bus, an incident that claimed the life of a footballer, Dominic Frimpong. And in an official statement released by the Ghana Police Service, authorities announced that the suspected gang leader and 1 accomplice are now in custody following an intelligence-led operation. That's all by way of sports here on News 360. My name is Mutala Yakubu.
The biggest World Cup ever deserves the biggest stage. In 2026, the FIFA World Cup will be played across 3 countries, the United States, Mexico, and Canada, in a historic first. The United States leads the way with 11 host cities featuring iconic venues like the MetLife Stadium in New York, Sophie Stadium in Los Angeles, and AT&T Stadium in Dallas. In Mexico, football history runs deep, with matches set for the legendary Estadio Azteca Stadium in Mexico City alongside Guadalajara and Monterrey. Canada joins the party with games in Toronto and Vancouver, bringing World Cup action to new fans and new stages. In total, 16 cities and over 100 matches will create a continental festival of football like never before. One tournament, 3 nations, where stadium will host history.
entertainment news segment is brought to you by GTP Lifestyle
and Napa Foods, Heaven Black Insecticide Spray and Coil,
powered by 3 Entertainment.
Good evening and welcome to the entertainment news segment here on News 360. My name is Noella Donko. Now, as anticipation builds toward the 27th Telecel Ghana Music Awards on May 9, 2026, debate around the highly competitive album and EP of the year category is intensifying. Now, industry giants are already split, with renowned producer David Kojoche, popularly known as Kwa, backing Stonebwoy's Torture as his top pick. Now, interestingly, fellow producer Jam Master J also leans toward Black Sharif's Iron Boy album.
Positivity and my heart is clean. Me never jealous another man thing.
This year's lineup reflects a rich blend of
The battle is on for the 27th Telecel Ghana Music Awards. Fan bases, this is your moment. If your artist is #1, prove it. Vote for your favorite artists and songs now on the Telecel network. Dial *1767#. Enter your nominee code and follow the prompts. Or vote free online at GhanaMusicAwards.com. This is action time. No talk, just vote. No hype, just vote. The 27 TGMAs, produced by Chatterhouse, with support from Guinness, TV3, Close Up, the British Council, KPMG, and our media partners. Proudly brought to you by Telecel.
Telecel, connecting energies.
We apologize for that break in sound. So Aja Noella brought us the entertainment news, and that's it for the bulletin. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Martin Esiedu Dati.
I am Portia Gabo. Good evening.